Guide dogs have been a feature of Australian streets for decades, but now our four-legged friends are helping people deal with a range of other health problems as well.
Wendy Coombe has first-hand experience of the value of assistance dogs. She's the founding director of a new charity, Animal Therapies, and she joins us now in the studio with her beautiful assistance dog, Jack, here with her. Good morning. Nice then Jack's decided to take a nap, which was just the right time to do so. Well done, Jack. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
It was your own personal experience that actually made you realise that there's a need for these kind of dogs.
Yes, absolutely. After 30 years of a successful senior management career, one morning I got up to go to work like any other day, and that afternoon I don't remember how I got home. And essentially my nervous system shattered and I got diagnosed with very severe stress, anxiety and depression. And the journey back to mental health has been a long and slow journey, but the pace of actually walking the path of recovery has been helped through my assistance dog, Jack, and other animal assisted services.
Yeah, so tell us about, in this case, Jack, what benefits has he provided you as you recover from that?
So firstly, we had to get accepted into an assistance dog training program, so I had to have the recommendation of my health practitioners. And also then Jack had to be accepted, and I got trained to use Jack as the means for me to be able to better access public life without experiencing what would often occur as a panic attack. Jack was trained also to actually help remove me out of a situation where my anxiety actually got too much. He is trained to be able to actually take me back to the car in the event that I needed to get back to the car.
Not yet.
Not quite yet, Jack.
He knows the word car clearly.
And,
yes, that's right. That's exactly right.
We know that assistance dogs are trained, and it's a very particular and careful and expensive training to read and to understand the mood and the state of mind of the person they assist. So he has that connection with you and can tell whether you're getting anxious and distressed.
Yeah, and he is trained to help me. So he'll, if he detects that my anxiety is up, he'll actually help me bring it down. I mean, look, even pets in a home environment can actually help to reduce stress through petting, through playing, through being able to get the stress hormone cortisol to come down and to increase oxytocin to actually help that person actually relax. So that's in its simplest forms. But then if you look at animal-assisted therapy, that actually involves psychologists, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, speech therapists. They're qualified to actually work with clients with a whole range of different conditions. But what makes it different in animal-assisted therapy is they actually have an animal that actually offers part of that therapy, and it becomes quite an experiential type of therapy as opposed to sitting in a room and talking about it.
The benefits of animals like Jack in helping people recover from various illnesses are many and varied, as we know, but are there gaps or are there hurdles, unnecessary hurdles as you'd see them, to stopping them making this much more widespread in Australia?
Yeah, well, it brings me to the reason why Animal Therapies Ltd was established as a charity. For my own personal experience, it took me years of research to actually understand what types of animal-assisted services were available to help me actually to get better and better access just more normal life than what I'd experienced. So I didn't want that same problem for other people. I wanted it to be easier for people that did have a need to be able to actually locate through a national register of animal-assisted services programs that can help them with their specific condition and their location, wherever they live in Australia. And also the other priority for us is to get the correct classification of services. So there is confusion in the sector around terminology. People often think he's a therapy dog. He's not a therapy dog, he's an assistance dog. So he's trained for me, as opposed to a therapy dog that actually has a very qualified allied health professional that actually works with that animal. And it could be other animals. You know, there's been studies that have shown that guinea pigs are really effective within an animal-assisted therapy context for children that have been abused or children that are homeless.
Wendy, as I mentioned before, we know that training up such dogs is very expensive. So are you aiming to try and raise money in order to get more dogs trained so that it can be they can be assistance dogs?
So in the longer term, we would see that we would be able to actually raise funds to sponsor people to be able to get assistance dogs, or if they can't afford animal-assisted therapy, to be able to actually... And in fact, last Friday, we sponsored 8 women who'd been through adversity to participate in an equine-assisted learning program on building resilience. And we are going to be sponsoring also equine-assisted learning for veterans that have got PDS or post-traumatic stress. So, you know, where there are situations where people may not be able to afford these type of therapies, we do see in the longer term that we can play that role in sponsoring them. But in the shorter term, it's actually being able to build this national register.
Okay. Wendy, really good to meet you this morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
Jack, nice to meet you too. He handled that interview.
He did. He's an old pro.